Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. The shooting of a black teenager by police in Gulfport, Mississippi has led to outcry from family members and activists who say the teen was unarmed with his hands up when he was confronted by police. He was coming out of a Family Dollar, according to the police. They said he was armed, and they said the police ordered him to drop his weapon. He refused to, so shots were fired. The family members said that he was unarmed, and there's witnesses say that he was unarmed, and they said he was complying with the police. Now I'm going to play a video of witness testimony, not in court, but this is what the witness told the news and the family.
So you say you saw what happened?
I saw the cop shoot the guy.
Did he have a gun on him?
I did not see a gun on him.
And the baby was coming out the store. Jahiem was coming out the store.
He was coming out of the store with his
and my
hands
other
up.
son with his hands up?
With his hands up.
Was he asked for his hands to go up?
Pardon me?
Was he asked to put his hands up?
I did not hear that. I had just pulled in and I saw what happened. I'm having PTSD or whatever you call it, but yes.
Okay.
Do you mind sharing your name?
Pardon me?
What is your name?
Your name?
My name's Deborah Stout.
Deborah Stone?
I don't. Stout.
Stout. Miss Deborah Stout.
Yeah, I talked to, I think, his niece. She was here. She had braids on. And I followed her home because she had a little boy at home.
Okay.
And just to make sure she was home. But yeah, I did see it.
We thank you so much.
I'm so sorry. My heart, I will pray. I will pray for y'all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
dude, can we get your phone number? You can write that down. I'm not going to record that.
Sure.
Now, again, 15-year-old young brother, Jahiem McMillan, was shot in the head, airlifted to a hospital in Mobile, Mississippi. He died days later after being taken off life support. Again, police say that 15-year-old Jahiem McMillan was armed and refused to drop his weapon when officers fired at him following a foot chase. During the October 6th incident, officers responded to a 911 call about 5 teens waving firearms at passing cars and began chasing one of them. According to Gulfport Police Chief Adam Cooper, who held a press conference on the officer-involved shooting. Now, the police, they always want us to believe them what they say, and they'll get up here and make these statements when they wasn't even there. Now, Cooper told reporters that one officer observed McMillan was armed and gave orders for him to stop and drop his weapon. McMillan did not comply, Cooper said. How do Cooper know that McMillan didn't comply? How can Cooper determine when he wasn't there? If there's body camera footage, show it. Then we can see what really happened. The police are always telling us to be transparent, to wait for them to do the investigation, i.e. get their lies straight, as if we haven't been here several times. Cooper also claimed that McMillan turned his body and weapon towards the officer, so the officer fired at him, hitting him in the head. Now, I'm going to play the press conference that the Chief Cooper gave about this incident.
I want to thank all of y'all first off for coming out here today, especially for the situation that's facing our community. First off, I want to say words cannot express how I feel right now. This tragic situation has touched many lives. I understand everybody wants answers on what led up and happened in this deadly encounter. Words from me will do little to comfort the individuals involved. I will start with saying I've requested the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation take over the entirety of the investigation from the charges of aggravated assault to the officer-involved shooting in order for all circumstances and facts to be investigated by an outside agency. I will share with you now what I know. The Gulfport Police Department received a telephone complaint from a 911 caller about a motorist in a silver Kia Soul with a Georgia state license plate. Accompanied by several subjects later identified as McMillan, Bell, Thomas, Ellis, and Cooper. They were brandishing firearms at passing motorists and began chasing one of them. This occurred in the area of Highway 605 and Magnolia Street. This description of the vehicle is passed along with the tag information. It's distributed to our officers through the Gulfport Police Department Communications Division. The Kia Soul was located in the area of, the intersection of Pass Road and 8th Avenue as it was entering the Family Dollar parking lot. Two officers in two separate marked units entered the parking lot behind the vehicle. Immediately, two individuals exited the vehicle and began to flee. Officers exited their vehicles with loud verbal commands, giving them instruction to stop fleeing. One of the officers observed McMillan, who was armed. The officer gave gave orders for him to stop and drop his weapon. McMillan did not comply. McMillan turned both his body and his weapon towards the officer. The officer fired at McMillan. McMillan was struck by the bullet and fell. The same officer then turned his attention back to the vehicle. He observed one of the vehicle occupants outside the vehicle and another one exiting. The officer ordered the suspect to the ground and he complied and laid on the ground. The suspect was later found to have a weapon in his waistband when he was taken into custody. The other individual still in the car was ordered to exit the vehicle and lay on the ground. He also complied and was taken into custody. The suspect that fled north that was pursued by the first officer was tracked down by canines. He was located. He complied, and he was taken into custody. A firearm was found in close proximity to him. McMillan was transported to a local area hospital, suffering from a single gunshot wound, and was later airlifted to an out-of-state hospital. There are lots of stories in traditional and social media on what transpired on October 6th at the Family Dollar at 8th Avenue and Pass Road. Many of them are simply wrong. People are posting and identifying our officer, Lieutenant Brian Watson, as the officer that was involved in this incident, along with the address, photographs of him, his family, and his children. Let me just say this. He has nothing to do with this. He was in fact out of state when this occurred. I respect everyone's right to freedom of speech and to protest. This simply is a malicious attack on a family for no reason. And no basis in fact, and these actions are inexcusable. Mississippi law is now clear as of July 1st that the Attorney General's office now has jurisdiction in cases where officers use deadly force. The Gulfport Police Department is cooperating fully with the investigation. The Gulfport Police Department also conducts its own internal investigation to violations of its policy. If any are found, it'll be taken into consideration and it'll be...
Okay, Chief, keep going.
I have turned over all evidence, radio traffic, 911 calls to our dispatch center, as well as all dashboard camera, body cam footage from this event. I've been assured by the Attorney General's office this will be a timely and thorough investigation. The evidence will be released, as always, upon its conclusion. And that's all I have to say.
It's evident that you really don't need credentials to be chief of police in Gulfport, Mississippi. How can he stand there and read something prematurely as if it's the truth? Now, I can understand if he reviewed the body cam footage, if there's body cam footage of what happened that day. But for him to read that off as if it's the truth is why we don't trust police. Now, Deborah Stout, the lady from the video earlier, she's a Long Beach, Mississippi resident. She told ABC News that she witnessed the encounter and said she saw McMillan with his hands up. She said she was waiting outside her home for a phone call when she heard the gunshots. She said, and I quote, "I did hear gunshots. I ducked. I didn't know whether, the gunshots were coming from," Stout told ABC News in a Zoom interview. "There was a guy on the ground that I noticed, a boy who passed away at the front door. But before that, I seen him with his hands up." Stout said that she didn't see McMillan with a gun. See, they had the boys outside the store on the ground first. And then when McMillan came out, according to what the police officer said himself, they said he turned around. Now, what he do? They ordered them out the store, and then he came out walking backwards, and then he turned around. See, these cops are so scared. They are so scared, and being scared is not an excuse to kill somebody. You're a trained officer, and if you're scared, don't take the damn job. Now, Miss Stout said the boy didn't have a weapon, and I could almost guarantee that boy was walking out backwards, and when he turned around, he got shot with his hands up. And then she said there was a lack of urgency in the medical response to McMillan because the ambulance, she said, arrived on the scene without the siren on. So they wasn't even trying to save this young brother's life. She said, and I quote again, "I feel terrible. I probably have to get counseling." She said she dreamed about it every night. The Mississippi Attorney General's office has jurisdiction on cases where officers use deadly force, Cooper said during the press conference. He said the Gulfport Police Department is cooperating fully with the Attorney General's investigation and will conduct the internal investigation, meaning that they're going to find no wrongdoing in this officer's part. That's what's going to happen. Family members of McMillan also claim in a Facebook video they were initially barred from entering a hospital in Mobile, where the teenager was airlifted. He was airlifted there too following the shooting. The family obtained civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump to represent them. Now, it's the same old same. They had the other teens on the ground, and when he walked out, he was shot. The young brother, Jahiem McMillan. Now, these police officers, they're hiring a bunch of trigger-happy cowards who have no regard for life. Now, it was a young man murdered by police. I forgot what state he was in, He was murdered by police. He was sitting in the car eating a hamburger. And he was just, the cop just walked up to the car and opened fire like the common thug. And the young man had 2 passengers in the car. He was fired and arrested, the police officer. And the young man died. The only difference is this young man that was killed in the car eating a hamburger, he didn't look like one of us. That's the only difference. But I'm going to get an update on both of these tragedies. But it's still a tragedy. Still shot a child, murdered a child. Whether he's black or white, a child was murdered. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.